Hi, Gavin. Hello.
Hello again. So yeah, we've been chatting already, and this is Lena, who's mum to my nephews, Josh and Jake. And yeah, we've known each other for a while, and so Josh and Jake happen to have, well, you can, I know Josh has got officially, like, autism, and maybe Jake's also diagnosed with that. And one of the reasons I'm doing this video is because I'm exploring about the value of chess and people on the learning spectrum, disability spectrum. And I just thought it'd be really nice to chat with you about your experiences with Josh and Jake, your challenges, what has helped them. And also we talked about attention and where their attention is. And I find that really interesting because we've just been talking about that for ourselves, haven't we? Like, in terms of attention. And so obviously for people on the learning spectrum, attention can be all over the place at times. But, Elena, for you, for Josh and Jake, or just in general, is there anything you can say about, their attention and what draws their attention, or what
Mm,
helps them to focus, or that kind of thing?
yeah. Well, it's a very interesting thing. I mean, it's a very hot topic in this house about the fact that in our society, everybody wants your attention, especially online. Attention is almost like the currency
It's
now.
true enough.
To get people's attention, to get their time, to
Yep,
get them to read your
yep,
email or whatever.
exactly.
And actually, that's a really difficult thing for people who have neurodiversity, I think,
Yeah,
because um, it takes, and also it did a lot of well, my son is 24,
mm,
the one who uses tech,
mm,
and that it takes a long time to be discerning for anybody, and to say no, I'm going to not be on this WhatsApp group that
mm.
has about 1 million messages a day
Yep,
because it's just taking my attention and
yep,
dinging my phone all
yeah,
the time. And
I completely understand.
and that is a hard thing for anybody, but I think especially for people with neurodiversity. It's particularly hard with technology.
Yeah,
And, in his case, he does better with actually organic things,
yeah,
organic activities with real people,
yep,
using hands to make things,
right,
um, to create, to do art in his
yep,
case, or do cooking in his
yep,
case. A lot of practical, real world things. And actually, given that, many neurodiverse people find it hard to stay grounded and to stay real in the world, the whole virtual side of technology, and it's going to
keeps
get
them
worse.
ungrounded, I think.
Um, it's taking them out
Mm.
of their bodies,
Yes.
out of the real world.
Yep.
So, Josh does yoga quite a few times a week now at the gym, which is really good. And I can absolutely see when he comes back from yoga as a
Mm.
different person. And I feel the same doing yoga,
Yeah.
to make something that makes you become embodied.
Mm.
And I can see that chess, although it is you're thinking with your mind, you are doing something actually physical.
Physically as
Well,
well. That's
in a
right.
in a one-to-one, obviously
Yes.
you can do online chess, but if you're actually using the pieces, it's linking in some way. I don't know anything about chess, but it's linking what you're thinking to a
Mm.
physical
Right.
movement.
Yeah.
A little
Good
bit
point.
like writing as opposed to just thinking something. Um, so
Yep.
I can see that, that could be a really positive focus for neurodiverse people,
Mm.
if that is an interest that they have.
Exactly.
But we've just been discussing how, neurodiverse people may be the ADD,
Yep.
ADHD type of neurodiversity, that they often, including myself, are not, if they're not interested in something, they can't
Yep.
concentrate on it.
Yep.
So actually, I think it's finding those young people who would really love to do chess, and it's not something that everyone gets an opportunity to do or to
No,
even
it's
try.
true. And what I found interesting in what you're just saying, it's like being, I think from my experience, people on the spectrum are not really, yeah, like you said, grounded. They're sort of elsewhere. And I think chess, what I've found is like helps them to focus in the here and now, helps them to look at the consequences of their actions in terms of what, if you make the move here, someone else will make a move here. And it gives them some guidelines relative to life, not just to chess, because it does overlap. And that's what I find quite interesting. So it's taking a responsibility, oh, for one's actions. But that's very interesting what you've
Yeah,
been saying, and
yeah.
you know, and the way I see it, it's just for any person on the spectrum to have the chance to play chess to see if it can benefit them, because I've seen the benefits in quite a big way. Like I might have mentioned this to you before, even someone who's selectively mute, a young girl at school where I teach at Lauren's school, and she was never spoke, and then she started making sentences, and Lauren couldn't believe it,
Wow.
you know, and that was just through this
That's
interaction of
amazing.
chess and my relationship to her. So that was just quite a graphic example of the structure of chess and a good quality interaction from the teacher. I think both of those are important for, you know, and that's what I find very interesting, the combination of good energy from the coach or teacher and an interest in the game, which is structured, safe, you know,
Mm.
methodical and all of that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's an amazing story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, it sounds like it can be an incredible tool
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
people. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. So you've mentioned what has helped you. Hey Josh,
Hey,
hello. What you up to?
hello.
What you up to?
I'm just
We are
um.
recording
No,
this.
it's good. It's all
Sorry,
good.
what
That's good. That's fine.
can I can I can I come into the call for?
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course
you
you
I
could
can.
just
can.
it's like
This is
you
Yeah,
being bit as this is my autistic son, a neurodiverse son, Josh. So
hello.
come into the call. Come and sit down
What
yeah.
then.
Come and, oh, this is great, Josh. All we're
get
talking
into
about is how chess can help people on the disability spectrum. It helped me when I was
yeah,
7 years old when Henry taught it to me. And I don't know, I'm somewhere on the spectrum, but I've seen how much it helps people. And so that's what me and your mum are talking about, is how chess can focus people. But she was saying about you, you know,
yeah,
cooking helps, you know, gardening. There's different things that help us to get with it and to, you know, to focus and to enjoy things. So being the computer, like being on social media, is something that doesn't often help people, but being grounded with other people, gardening, food, art, all that stuff. So it's interesting to know what helps people and what doesn't help people, and that's partly what we're talking about.
Hmm.
yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
What
yeah,
what were what works
yeah, and what
what I
doesn't work.
find
Yeah,
yeah um
Do you find the physical things are easier, Josh? They make you feel better, don't they? Don't
yeah
you think?
yeah
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
helps being in my physical like
Yoga.
yeah that
and the
helps
art, I can
Yeah.
imagine also that the art is a sort of, you know, enjoyable, grounding, creative, lovely process, which I can, when, you know, I can imagine that's probably true to some degree when you do art.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah
yeah. All right.
it takes
Hmm.
me out of um
Mind?
my head
Ruminating.
Yeah,
of the rumination that
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Good.
and yeah just I think so it's so good for me to stop
Yeah.
And you created this amazing meal. He went to the
Sorry, I just
community
wanted, Josh
kitchen
was saying
yesterday.
something, Elena.
Yeah.
It's so good for you to stop something, you said.
um
To stop the rumination, do you mean? Or to stop the kind
yeah
of, you know, yeah,
yeah
yeah,
the ruminate the sort of and the to sort of it takes me I just look outside of my mind for a bit.
yeah, that's great. I like the sound of that. That's what we all need. You're
That's
not
a
the
good way
only
of
one.
putting
We're
it.
all in
Yeah.
our mind, in our heads, and the more we can do physical things, the better for all of us. So you're not the only one, Josh,
Yeah,
that's for sure. Yeah, thank you so much. Is it? Yeah. Well, you can stay with the call if you want. It's up to, it's nice. It's a very organic call, and my idea, Josh, is to I've got a YouTube channel, and I'm trying to get some videos, and so this will be the third one. Just the first two are just me talking, but this is just really nice to have an
Because,
organic chat with my nephew, and yeah, and with Elena.
yeah,
So yeah, so
yeah.
Elena, so
Do you mind?
yes, go on, Josh.
Yeah, I'm. Yeah, I wouldn't. This.
I do think it's about focus and about attention. I know for myself, like me and Elena were talking about how we've both got attention issues in terms of being distracted, and not really focusing on stuff. And there's a very good book that Elena mentioned, Scattered Minds by Gabor Mate, which I will be looking at. And I think it's like one of the things is finding something that you're interested in. For someone with attention deficit issues, finding something that you're interested in, like you were saying, Elena, and then there's much more chance that you can do it and be interested because you're interested, rather than if you're not interested and it's really difficult. That's something I came across in a video a while back and relative to attention deficit disorder. So it's such a spectrum, isn't it? Learning disabilities, from nothing to like everything and everything in between. But you know, I do feel chess has got potential, but then I'm hoping I can do it online, not just face to face, because I don't want to get too sort of burnt out by it. But it's early days, and I'm just looking for more people to play chess with who happen to have learning disabilities, and just to see what's possible, really.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's early days.
And I think also a lot of people these days don't like to say disability; they just call it diversity.
That's a better
But
word. I prefer that word. Yeah.
yeah, it's just it's an interesting thing because Jake does have my other son does have a learning disability,
Yeah.
which is where he's struggling to learn, whereas Josh has a neurodiversity, which makes him different. Although you have processing stuff
Yeah.
going on, don't you? But it's kind of So a lot of people in the community like to call it diversity, but there's so much discussion now about all of these things. It's a very interesting time.
I think
But I really think
diversity is such an interesting word. I much prefer it to disability because it means it's a strengths-based model rather than a deficit-based model, I think. And that's a different kind of conversation, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's probably easier for people and they, yes. I mean, it's an amazing story about the person that was selectively mute and got very excited about the chess and was talking. I mean, that's
And
amazing.
I was giving her very good eye contact, and I'm quite intuitive with people's energies. So I do feel that's something I'm exploring more, is like how that works. Not that I need to know, but I think it's a mixture of the two, and it's a bit of a journey to go on to find out how those two things work together. But yeah. So yeah, no, that was interesting.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think certainly there are people out there who would really benefit. It's a question of how do you find those people?
Well,
As with
exactly,
anything that you do.
exactly. And that's like with you and your astrologer. You're an astrologer.
So I just get people to message me for readings, really.
Okay. Chess can be very much secondary, and that's sort of the way I see it at the moment. So it's the well-being connection, the humanizing connection, the kind of just sort of loving connection, empathic connection, whatever, which I've always done in my life through my mental health work, and all the things. So yeah, this is just so it's to be seen how that works, if I can get people enough who are interested. So, and it's partly about managing one's own energy, actually, to do all of this in a busy life, and that's the challenge I think a lot of us have, isn't it?
Yes, and prioritizing as well. Yes.
Yes, Josh.
through your chest, can it heal people's trauma?
That's a really lovely question. I love the question. My honest answer is I don't know.
Okay.
But I feel like, I do feel trauma can be healed, and I do feel there's ways that can happen, and the way it can happen is sometimes beyond our own understanding. There is energetic influences of all kinds in the world. So yes, I would say it's possible. I obviously can't say definite, but I say it's possible. Yeah.
That's good.
Yes. Wow.
Yeah, so that's good. I mean, that's an interesting point, Josh. We all carry trauma, don't we? Of one kind or another. Trauma is part of the human condition, isn't it? We all feel, for whatever reason, hard knocks in life. But I really feel that we can be healed of that when we begin to take responsibility for our own trauma. Not maybe even waiting for it to happen, but actually knowing what it is and beginning to work with it. I feel like that's an individual, but we need help as well. Yes, of course we need help to help in the journey. But I do feel if we want to, we can begin to be responsible for whatever it might be, whatever the trauma is. We all have it.
Yeah.
We all have our own version. So
Yeah.
yes, it's a really good question that you asked.